Well, hello.
Hey,
How are
Nicole.
you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Week has gone good for me, and I know you're busy right now. You're in the middle of one of the most stressful times of your life when it comes to moving. As you share how it goes to having to pack things up, and God dang,
Well, it always
I do
seems
not
like a
envy
good
you.
idea. Yeah, it always seems like a good idea, and then you're like, "What have I done? What have I done?" I still have to go back and do my garage, so I'm taking a break. I'm too old. I need a break. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. But I went and got a really good massage on Mother's Day because I could barely move. It was like I'd been in a car accident. All my hands were sore from carrying stuff. My feet hurt. My back was all messed up. So I got a few minutes to myself on Mother's Day. So
I'm glad you mentioned that because I felt terrible. I think last show I didn't wish you a happy Mother's Day coming up,
oh,
and you're a great mom. It's one of the things I admire most about you, of what a great mom you are. And the show ended, and I was like, I can't believe I didn't wish her a happy Mother's Day coming up. But did you have a good day?
I did. I had a good day. Didn't really do much, which was a good day because I needed a break. But I got your text. I appreciate your text.
Good,
It was
good.
great.
Absolutely. I just wanted to mention it on the show because moms are the best, and so I always make sure that everyone knows. It's honestly, even though I'm not a mom, obviously Father's Day is a great day for me. And one I think I take most pride in is trying to be the best dad I can be. I know you're a great mom, but moms are better than dads, and it just they just are. I mean,
Some.
moms are the best, and so and when I say it in this category, it sounds bad if you're not a dog lover, but I always say moms and dogs are the only ones who will put their lives before your own, and they are absolutely the best. So I'm glad you had a great day.
That's a fact. Yeah, for me, a great day was just being able to hang out with my little one and just do nothing, 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 nothing.
So
Um,
so
yeah,
who
but
got you the massage? Was it your older daughter or younger daughter got you the massage?
I went and got it. My
Oh, you
my
just said it.
my youngest had gym. She had gym, and randomly somebody offered to take her. That's also in the class. And I was like, yeah, great. So I had an hour and I just ran down to a local spot and got my Thai massage on.
Oh, that's good. All right.
Yeah.
It's funny. The massage thing is one of those for me. I've only done it twice in my life, but I
What?
always feel, yeah, I've only done it twice because I always feel kind of sick afterwards. And I was like, well, it feels great while it's happening, but then after I'm done, I feel like I just, went on, the revolution at Magic Mountain. Like I just feel kind of dizzy a little bit.
Really? That's why you're supposed to drink a lot of water right after because it does like, get things moving around in
Yeah.
your body and get all that like stuff out of the muscle. I get really, really hard massage,
Yeah.
so I'm always sore, like
Yeah.
bruised and stuff the next day, the next couple days. But I'll take it. I'll take it over being like sore from the moving. It's
Yeah.
totally different kind of sore. Yeah. Oh,
All right. So here's a question that I have. It's always one of those things in my head, and I know it's dumb. It's Do you prefer either a male or a female giving you a massage, or does it matter?
I prefer a female.
Yeah.
I just do because you're moving around and things are popping out and you don't have your clothes on and I don't know. And some men it's fine, but I yeah, I would choose a female.
Yeah, I do too. I don't It's not anything that, I believe one way or another. I just feels weird in my mind to think another guy touching me. But I prefer a female. That's just the way I go. And people look at me like, "What are you crazy?" He goes, Guys have stronger hands. Don't you want a guy in it?" No, I don't. I
I
don't.
don't think you're alone in that. I think a lot of men feel that way.
Yeah, that's funny. And can you imagine doing that job for a living? Can you imagine you leave and another person comes in? Like you have like eight a day. I mean, imagine what your hands would feel like.
Oh, and if you only knew like how much pressure this lady was putting on me, I felt so bad for her. But you know, she chose that line of work and she's damn good at it.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna use it. But yeah, I can't even imagine. But their hands are always so soft from all the oil.
yeah, that's true, huh?
Skin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, that's funny. All right, I want to ask you about a couple things entertainment wise. Okay, first thing I want to ask you about is Jamie Foxx. Okay, because you're seeing on social media like crazy over the last month. Please pray for Jamie Foxx. He's extremely sick. Basically, the family needs prayers, and And I don't know about you, but I'm a huge Jamie Foxx fan. There's certain people that are good at a lot of things, but to master so many different things. Like I always say, if I could sing, I wish I could sing. I can't. I wish I could play the piano. I can't. I wish I could dance well. I can't. And then when you get a guy like a Jamie Foxx who does everything really well and he's funny and he's a great entertainer, and I'm going, he's a young guy. How is he so sick? And you never know. Could be, I'm just throwing things out there. I don't know anything. Stroke, cancer, whatever it could be. And you're going, man, this stinks, for a guy who's entertained us and I'm a fan of. And then all of a sudden the family comes out, he's absolutely fine. He went and played pickleball, a couple days ago. And
Oh,
and
is
so
that right? Oh,
yeah,
I
they say
didn't.
he's fine. They say he's fine. And so that's what I was gonna ask you. Have you ever gotten roped into something that was crazy where you're like, that's ridiculous story about me? I mean, nobody knows better than me about me. And to see, I don't know if you've ever had like an Inquirer deal or a Twitter deal or social media deal. We go, that story is just not true.
Yeah, a lot of them. You know what really drives me nuts? I'm not sure if we talked about this or not, but IMDb, the
Yeah.
entertainment database, right? They like made up my whole life, and like nothing on there, nothing on there is true. And I write to them and I tell them, and they don't change it. And they have me as married. They have me as that I have a lisp. Um,
That would bother me.
it's just weird. It's just like
Yeah.
where do you come up with this stuff? Like, who sits there and writes this and thinks like, oh yeah, she has a lisp, and then she's married. Like, isn't it like public record? Can't you like look at records and see that someone is
Yeah.
not married? I don't know. I don't know how that
Yeah,
works.
you 100% you can.
And
It's
and
lazy.
they're really weird because they have me married to him. The dates that they have me married to my daughter's father is like after she was born and like after we had broken up, like we weren't together at all anymore. And then they have us getting married. I'm
Oh,
like, yeah, weird, just weird.
okay.
So
So set the record straight. Were you ever married at any time?
no, I,
Never. You've never been married.
I was married one time when I was really, really young to my boyfriend, but we got annulment. So it
Okay.
doesn't really.
Did
So
you do the big wedding or did you do let's
oh
go
no,
to
no,
Vegas
no.
deal?
We went to Vegas.
Did you?
Yeah. Yes, we went to Vegas. And
Just curious, how did that come about? Like you just, hey, you know what? Let's go to Vegas. Let's just at like just a whim, or was it planned out? Of
well, it was his idea. He was really pushing
course.
for it. And I was like, no respect for marriage at all. I was like, whatever, we could do this. We can undo this too. I had no respect for the institution of marriage, like whatsoever. And to me, I didn't even take it seriously. I just went along and did it in Vegas. And then we had an annulment. So I'm not really divorced. It's not really I don't consider it really a marriage, but
How long did it last? If you say, okay, I'm gonna get married and then realize this was a big mistake.
I don't even know. Oh, I knew it was a mistake right away. I think maybe another 6 months or something.
Oh, okay. So you
It
moved
was
in with each other, the whole deal. It was like you try to make it work for at least 6 months.
sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, we were really young, so it was like I think I was probably 19. So yeah, I mean, we gave it a shot. No, I don't really know. Crazy kids, crazy, crazy kids. Yeah.
What did your parents say when
I
you
didn't tell them. I didn't tell them until I needed to get it undone. And then I was like, Ma, Ma, I need help. I need an annulment. And it was something weird. Like in Vegas, you had to be in Vegas. So like I remember we got an apartment there and we were there for like a week or something doing all the paperwork and like to have an address.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was something weird. So it was more of a pain in the ass than
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be, but
Yeah.
you know, my mom handled it for me.
Did she get upset with you? Was it one of those, Nicole, what the hell?
Yeah, she was really mad. She was, she was beside herself. Yes, she was really, really ticked off.
See, and I think that happens to, I imagine you aren't the only one in that group where people say things about you that aren't true, but that would bother me. I mean, it bothers me if my neighbor says something about me that's not true. But to see, publicly, people can read things on you, and especially the lisp thing is big because, you're an actress. Do I want to hire somebody who has a lisp?
Right. But all you have to do is listen to me for 2 seconds and you know that
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah,
yeah.
and he says like I'm like really breathy. I'm breathy. I think they call me like curvy. I forget what the word is. It's like this like it's just so not me.
Yeah.
Like nothing about it is me. But yeah, and they won't change it and it just drives me bananas. So yes. But so do you think the whole Jamie Foxx thing was made up?
I have no idea. I just hope he's okay. I mean, I'm a fan. I don't wish bad things on him, even in people I dislike. Especially, early death. Is when I find out someone has a child, and I know he has a daughter, and you sit there and you go, man, that stinks.
Yeah.
It just you start feeling bad about how does it affect other people. But I'm a Jamie Foxx fan. I never met him. I'm a fan of. Again, I always put like Jamie Foxx and like Justin Timberlake, like kind of in that category of man, these guys are good at everything they do.
Yeah.
And it's weird to see people that are that talented at more than one thing.
Yeah, yeah, he does have they both have a lot of talent, I know. It makes me feel so like I'm so meh. I can't sing, I can't dance, I can barely
He-
act.
Here's 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 one thing that you say you can't sing, but here's one thing that always surprises me is when actors or actresses do sing in whether it's a TV show or movie, and I'm like, wow, like I didn't know. And then I'm thinking, well, people like you have been entertainers your whole life, so yeah, you probably do have the ability to sing. Have you ever taken singing lessons or try to sing?
No, I cannot sing. And I
Okay,
no, 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 no. It's like painful for myself to listen to. Never
yeah.
mind anybody else having to listen to it. No, I don't know that it's actually tone deaf, but I mean it's pretty darn close to bad. Yeah, I just can't. I don't have a musical ear.
You know what? And when did you realize you couldn't sing? Because I think
Oh,
everybody thinks they can sing until they can't. Until someone
no,
says to
I
you,
always knew I couldn't
you know,
sing. Yeah, I just can't. No, it was always very obvious.
oh my gosh.
Very.
I for some reason I always thought I could sing. I don't know
Mhm.
why. Maybe because I couldn't hear myself, but I used to sing in the car all the time until I started dating my wife. And then one day we're driving. I mean, this is why we're dating, where she's supposed to be nice to me, but we're driving from like LA to San Diego or San Diego to LA, and she just reaches over and turns the stereo all the way down, where all I could hear is myself. And it was sounded so bad. I have not sung again since. Like, oh my God, I'm that bad. Like I didn't realize how bad I was. And I was doing that in front of another person. I was so embarrassed. It might have
That's
been my most embarrassing situation, but I thought, man, I hit them all. I hit all the high notes. I thought I was great. I was terrible. And I was like, I will never sing again the rest of my life. This
I think
was
that's
this was
hysterical.
awful.
That's
Yeah.
hysterical. Well, everybody sings, everybody belts out in the car, right? I mean,
You think, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I thought it was great. So, speaking of that, what's your favorite thing to at least attempt to sing to? Like, I'll tell you, what I'm leading to is this: is I'm always amazed when someone has a voice that is far and away better than anything I've ever heard. Like Adele is amazing.
yeah.
Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, they always were great. Whenever I watch these singing shows on TV, I'm like, don't do an Adele song, don't do a Mariah Carey song. Like you're gonna look really bad in a second. Pick wisely. And but when I'm always amazed that as many good singers as there are, that there's those people that just take it to a whole nother level. Do you feel that way about whether it's singing or actors, where you say, you know
Both.
what, that's a whole nother
Me
level?
Yeah, I love it. I when there's like a talented singer and then I'll, really get into it. I saw a clip I posted of a girl. It was America's Got Talent, I believe. And it just like, yeah, I just sit there in awe when people can sing really good. So
Yeah,
envious. Yeah. Because there's nothing like good music, and
yeah.
when someone has a good voice, it moves you, it's emotional. It's all those things. So yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I wish I could sing, but no, no, no.
Okay, so let's take it to acting because obviously that's what you're known for. For me, I'm just a fan. I've never tried to act in a school play even. But I'll watch people and go, man, that person's fantastic. I'm a big Tom Hanks fan. I'm a Leonardo DiCaprio fan. I'm a fan of people that I can forget that I'm watching this star on TV or in a movie, and I just fall into the character. And if you're able to do that for me, then I'm going, boy, you're pretty good at your craft. Do you ever do that? I mean, or
Oh yeah.
do you find yourself judging acting, or do you fall into the storyline?
I try to fall into the storyline. I try to be a fan, not because maybe taking notes and maybe like, going, wow, or, like getting
Yeah.
blown away by people, but not, criticizing or critiquing because who am I to do that? And it's just, that's not what it's about, right? It's about
Yeah.
falling. Have you seen Man Named Otto?
I did. I just saw it last week.
Oh, you did? Yeah,
Oh,
it's
last
good,
week.
right?
Yeah.
He's great.
I did. I liked it.
He's great. He's one of the all-time greats. He really is.
Yeah, and it's funny, I'm a Denzel Washington fan, but to me, Denzel's always Denzel, you
Yeah.
know? Like,
Yeah.
in everything, Denzel's always Denzel, but I like Denzel, but I think underrated because people always go the older actors, the Pacinos, the De Niros. I do think Leonardo DiCaprio is about as good as they get.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, really,
Matt
really
Damon,
talented man.
yeah,
Yeah. Have you
and
seen the Nike movie?
it's on my list of things to see. People keep sending it to me and saying you got to see this movie because being in sports radio, one of the main characters, Sonny Vaccaro, is the one who's trying to pursue Michael Jordan's mom. Have you seen the movie? You're shaking your head like you have to. Okay.
I haven't seen it, no.
Okay. So the main person that's trying to convince Michael Jordan's mom to go in with Nike is Sonny Vaccaro. And he was a guy that's been on my radio show a million times over the last, 30 years. And so it's kind of cool because he's an old man now and that they've kind of, brought his character in, and he's worked for all of them. He's done Reebok, Adidas, Nike, but he's the one that got Michael Jordan to be, part of Nike. And so
Wow.
it's kind of cool to see that he's recognized. For all his hard work. But I
Yeah.
hear the Nike movie's great. Everyone
Yeah,
says
it
it's
looks
great.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really great.
So yeah, I was curious to know if you fall into it. I mean, you're more mature than I am. I'll be honest with you. As someone who's done radio for 30 years, that I'll flip the radio on and I'll listen and I'll go, this guy sucks. I think I say about every guy, this guy sucks. He's terrible, and it's not I don't think it's a matter of jealousy. It's just not the way I would go about it. I know what it's like to do, sports radio and entertain and bring people in. And then when I hear people who just seem lazy, it bothers me. And so I just never. It's not like the movies and TV, and so that was kind of going to lead me into my next thing. Is as we record this episode right now, Perfectly Twisted, there's a writer strike going on, and it's not the first one. It happens a lot, and I think people are aware there's a writer strike, and for the audience, for me that has my set TV shows that looks forward to September when the shows start up again. That the shows are going to be delayed. It's not going to be September and you're going to go, where's my Law and Order and where's where's the shows that I like? And it's because there's a writer strike going on. For you, do the writers ever get the credit they deserve?
Well, I mean, I think that they must. I'm not everybody, obviously, but I think that they do. But right now, what they're striking about is completely legitimate. I mean, it's so long overdue. So they have to get paid. You have to pay people for their time and their talent. It's a little devastating what's happening to them. And I get it that streaming is new and this is all new territory that everybody's trying to figure out and work out and see, what makes it fair. But they're just being greedy and not sharing and not paying. And I remember there was an issue for us as actors too, because when we would do shows and then they would start streaming them, but when we signed those contracts, streaming wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you get your residuals? How do you get paid? And so they absolutely need to get paid, and they absolutely need to take care of these writers. It's absurd.
Have you ever spoken to a writer? I've never interviewed one before. I mean, I know that you obviously work with writers all the time, but do you ever ask them how they develop a storyline? Meaning, do they start at the end or they start at the beginning? Like in their mind, how do they go through the process of even putting something together? It kind of amazes me that they're able to put 22 episodes of anything out a year.
I know. I think so too. A lot of times I don't get to meet the writer because they don't necessarily come on set. And if they do visit set, they don't generally spend a lot of time there. So it's not like, you just get to be around them. But when I worked on like Charles in Charge, and we work with the writers every day, all the time, it's for them, I think it was a lot of like trial and error, but that's a different kind of writing, right? So they would write it, then we act it out right then, and then they can change it, see what works, what doesn't. But it is fascinating. I know when people say write a book or something like that, I can't even wrap my head around the idea of organizing all of those thoughts and putting it into a proper order and proper format. Like, no way, no way. I it's that is a gift. That is a gift, and I don't have it.
What is the normal amount of writers for a TV show?
Oh, I think they're all different. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. For a TV show, there's usually quite a few, which I think then is they have each other to bounce off of, right?
Yeah.
So you can bounce ideas off of each other, and I think that seems more feasible. But to do, to take something on and like write a screenplay by yourself, I think that's a lot. That's a big undertaking.
One of the things to me would seem like it would be kind of interesting or tough would be, let's say you're playing the character of someone at someone's life story, and that person is on set with you, because you always hear, well, I interviewed that person and I hung out with them and I try to bring what they were out into the television show or the film. And then if it's not, it's almost like having, somebody over your shoulder. Like, that's not how I would do it. And I guess you're relying on the director to kind of even things out for you. But I don't know if I would like that, to have, once I do the interview or get to know what this person's about, it would bother me knowing they're right there in the chair as I'm trying to play them. Have you ever been in a situation like that? You had to play somebody like that?
I haven't, but I 100% agree with you because yeah, you're like, am I impressing them or are they being am I insulting
Yeah.
them? I'm not sure that people sit and watch the whole like filming though when they're
Yeah.
having their life story done. I would hope not. Um, I really hope not because as an actor, like there's so many insecurities already, and then yeah, to have them sit standing there like watching you going, it's not like me at all, or whatever it is. Yeah, that seems like hard on the nerves. Hard on the nerves.
Do you ever watch, I do this a lot as a viewer. Do you ever watch something and just go, bullshit? Like, you know,
Yes.
and give an example of two movies, kind of like that. Like yeah, I love the movie Goodfellas. I'm a big fan of mafia movies. Goodfellas is one of my favorite movies. The acting in that movie to me is outstanding. The story is very supposed to be very truthful and it's outstanding. But like the movie Rudy, I'm not a Notre Dame fan, but I love the movie Rudy. And so I don't know if you've ever seen Rudy. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm looking at this guy and I understand, he played football at Notre Dame and the whole deal, little guy, the whole deal. That story part's true. A lot of people part of the program will say there's a lot of bullshit in this movie. But even the fact when his dad's in the crowd chanting Rudy and calling him Rudy, his dad calls him Rudy the whole movie. I'm like, the whole family's last name is Rudiger. You aren't calling one kid Rudy out of your 8 kids. It's like the guy's name is Daniel. And it's driving me a little nuts going, come on, his dad's calling him Rudy. Everybody's Rudy in the room. There are 12 Rudies in the room. And it starts to drive me a little nuts. It's just the way my head works of bullshit, and I get upset when it doesn't seem real, when it's supposed to be, actual and factual of what's happening.
You know what? Yeah, I never even thought of that. That's really funny. Yes, things like that get me too. You know what else gets me? I'm so weird like this. Like continuity in films. I catch it so much. Like I have such an eye for it. And it drives me crazy. Like if there's a shot and like somebody has a drink or something and it
Yeah,
has a certain amount in it, and then we come back and it's different, or just things are different. And uh, that's
me
something
too.
that really drives me nuts. That really is like
How does that happen? Because I notice that stuff too, and I'm kind of proud of myself when I catch it. I go, wait a second, that wasn't there a second ago, or that's moved, or something's on the floor. I remember when I was a kid watching Stripes, and I'm sure you've seen the movie Stripes of Bill Murray.
yeah.
And the very beginning of the movie, his buddy bets him, can he do 5 push-ups? And he throws the money on his chest as he's trying to catch his breath. And the money's all facing like heads up when he starts talking. Then it goes to the other actor. Then it comes back to Bill Murray, and the money is upside down. Like the money changed. And I'm like, wait a second, what just happened to the money? But I'm always proud of myself when I catch it. But I'm just like you, and I'm going, okay, if I catch it, other people are catching stuff like that, like the amount of alcohol in the glass. You
Yeah.
know, why is there more alcohol in there now where you never went and fill it up?
Yeah. I catch things all the time, whether it's like somebody's holding something and then they're not, or whatever. But there's somebody whose job that is on
Yeah,
set. The script supervisor, they do continuity. But in their defense, when you're working all day on one scene, like it changes, and then you're doing take after take, and the person's drinking whatever liquids in the cup, right,
yeah,
or eating the food, and they just don't notice. And maybe they thought with the coins, so like nobody was really going to notice, so they didn't even care, right? So,
yeah,
but it drives me nuts. And then also sometimes you do a scene and say it's a scene that continues like from inside to outside, and something changes. It might have been shot on totally different days. It could have been shot in a totally different week,
yeah.
so it's tricky like that, but that is somebody's job. That is somebody's job to make sure everything is the same. And it's
When
kind
you
of
were
funny
doing
because when you're shooting and you do something, and a good, script supervisor will say, "Hey, when you said this word, you moved your hair, or
oh,
you put your purse up on your shoulder at this time. So make sure you do that again." And and it's kind of like, well, shit, why did I do that? Now I have to think about that. I have to do that. So yeah, it gets funny.
when you were doing Baywatch, and I remember when Baywatch first started, this is even before you were on, I had some friends that were visiting from out of town, and we just happened to be at the beach that day, and they were filming Baywatch. We never even heard of it. It was one of the first episodes they were doing. But in Los Angeles, for people who live in LA, you see it a lot. You'll see that they're filming a television show or a commercial. You'll see the trucks, the lights. You'll notice something's going on. And you can't help but stop and watch to see, hey, maybe there's a chance I'm going to see somebody famous. And with Baywatch, I remember what it started out of maybe 10 people watching turned into hundreds of people watching. And when you're outside like that and you're doing your show, and when you were on, the show was already very popular by the time you joined it. Did you guys have that all the time? And was that a distraction having, basically an audience just standing around people say, I'm going to the beach for the day. All of a sudden, I'm going to be part of Baywatch watching them film scenes.
It just becomes, you when you're on a set, there's all kinds of people standing around looking at you anyway. So, and they really kind of kept people far from us so people
Yeah.
could see. So like if we were down on the sand and then there was like a walkway up there, people would be up there. So it was, there was a distance, so it didn't matter, but you kind of just tune it out. I did anyways, just tune it out.
When you were done, did people try and get your attention like, hey, Nicole, can I, get a picture? Hey, Nicole, can I do this? Was it a distraction? Was it hard for you ever?
Not really. I mean, I feel like security kept everybody safe and kept everybody separate, and because you never know who's there, right? So
No.
they would keep everything very separate, and you can't go onto the set, and you can't get into like our camp where all our dressing rooms and stuff like that are. So you would leave set and just go up to base camp, and nobody can get in there. So
Did you ever have to feel like you had to be like on guard, even driving home, of like looking in the mirror, going, "All right, am I being followed?" Or were you ever concerned about your safety?
I probably should have been. Good point. I probably should have been.
Never once.
Not really.
All right,
No, and,
good.
and and listen, I live far from the beach, so it was like if somebody was following me that far, I would have noticed. I don't think I had to really like look for it, but you know what? No, young and dumb, and you
Yeah,
know, think nothing's ever going to happen to you, and just no, pretty irresponsible.
good. Things worked out. But you know what's funny? If it was your daughter, let's say, in acting right now, or a show like that, you'd be asking a million questions, or you'd make sure you'd go to every length to make sure she was okay all the way home.
I sure would. I know.
Yeah,
Yes, and because that is so easy to follow somebody home from, especially when you work somewhere like the beach where it's public like that. It's
yeah,
not like you have a studio lot or anything. But no, luckily everybody was friendly and not crazy, and I made it. I'm
yeah. You made
alive.
it. Good. I'm sorry. Well, I'm glad you're done with that. I didn't just throw something in your head to make you paranoid for the next
No,
next
I'm
shooting.
more paranoid now. I'm more paranoid as an adult than I am than I was then. But back then I was reckless.
I think a lot of it has to do, obviously, when you become a mom, that you're just concerned about the people, whose lives are important to you.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
here's a question people ask me all the time, just because they know we do this show. Um, Pam Anderson obviously was on that show. Pam Anderson has been naked in a bunch of different things. She doesn't have a problem being naked. You've had other co-stars who have posed, in Playboy or been naked in movies. Have you ever been basically approached to do stuff like that, and whether it's a role in a movie or a magazine, and said, you know what, that's either for me, not for me?
Well, I was approached by Playboy a number of times, and it just wasn't. I have nothing against it. I love the magazine. I love it all, but it just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
And like I always like if I was going to do naked pictures, I wanted them to be like her Britzy, artsy, and Playboy is just not that. It's very kind of fluffy and centerfoldy, and um, I just thought it was just wasn't my jam, so I never did it. I definitely met with them and had some creative meetings with them about stuff, and then and it just didn't work out. And then when we were on Baywatch, they wanted to do. I think they did do it. A spread with a few of the Baywatch girls.
Yeah.
And of course, I was approached to do that, but I didn't.
Would that be one of those you would talk with your agent or manager, or would you even talk to your mom and say, "Mom, what do you think?"
Um, yes and no, because it's really a personal thing. Like you're
Yeah.
the one that has to get out there and be naked,
Yeah.
and you're the one whose picture it's going to be there forever. Um, so it's really a personal thing, but and I didn't want to do it. If I was going to do Playboy, I wanted to do it on my own. I didn't want it to be like because I'd already turned it down. Then why was I going to go do and like go do a group thing like this
Exactly.
Baywatch? And we were really fighting that whole Baywatch bimbo, reputation as it was. So I didn't feel like doing Playboy was the right move.
Yeah. I was just curious because back in the day, Playboy was a big deal. I mean, it was
Yeah,
before the internet, or you don't have the same access, especially if you had someone famous, you're going, it was always a compliment for a lot of women to say, hey, they asked me to do this. These are pictures that, me at my best, I'm going to have them forever. But I always wonder, what is that decision like when you decide to make it? And are you afraid of being put in a different category in people's minds of what you're willing to do and not willing to do as an actress?
well, I love the magazine. I think the magazine's iconic, obviously, and great. But yeah, for me, it just wasn't. It wasn't for me. And I don't really care about the nudity of it and everything like that. For me, it was more like the style of it. I wanted it to be like edgier, and it just wasn't what Playboy is, and so it wasn't a good fit for us. But and I wasn't really worried about once Baywatch started. Then I was more worried about like doing something like that because we were fighting the stigma of that we were all bimbos at first, and
Yeah.
it was horrifying. So that I thought was that was just the wrong move to go do Playboy.
Here's something that I always thought was interesting when I found out, was that some people will be nude in a movie, but you won't see their face, and you find out it's a body double. It's not
Right,
their actual body.
right. I've
Whether
had that. I've had
Yeah,
that.
really?
Yes, yes.
Okay, how does that come about?
Well, for me, I think first of all, I was maybe too young. I was the movie The Haunting of Morella, and there my character is supposed to take like a blood bath,
Yeah.
and I I wasn't going to do it. So they hired this young lady who didn't even have the same body type as me. I don't think.
Really?
Like, yeah, it was kind of strange. I don't know. Maybe I have to look back and see if, like, if I can really tell. But when it's your body, and it's somebody
Yeah.
else doing it, like you think it's so obvious that it's not you, but it probably isn't.
Okay,
Um,
did it bother you to go, "Wait a second, I'm proud of my body. That's not my body. My body, you gotta do a better job of matching up my body than this."
no, she had a great body. I think she just was very lean. She was a lot. She was like long and lean, and
Yeah.
I've never been that. So I think that that's all it was. And I remember she had like this big Black Panther tattoo. And it was like this panther on her, and they kept having to cover up that tattoo. I don't know why that sticks out in my memory, but it does. So yeah, that's not my body in that movie.
I remember seeing a movie with I think it was Heather Thomas who was on The Fall Guy,
Yeah.
and she was topless in the movie, but and someone said that's not her body, and did an interview saying that wasn't her body. And when you see that she's topless, there's dark hair, and
Oh,
she doesn't have dark hair. She has
right,
blonde hair.
right.
And
It's
they're going, well, you're right.
continuity.
What?
Continuity again.
Yeah.
See?
Well, I hate to say it. I probably watched the scene 100 times. I found it. that
No,
was
no.
that was it. That was it. My parents didn't have the movie channels on the cable box. Remember the old cable box? And I'm sitting there trying to sit there and turn the knob back and forth, trying to catch it. But yeah, that was me. I was 13. Yeah, so what are you gonna do? So I think I might have been younger than that, but yeah, at the same time, I was like, "Oh, it's Heather Thomas. You never see her like that in The Fall Guy." I'm watching. Anyway, I was just curious to know how all that worked with the body doubles. It's kind of funny. All right,
Yeah.
so we have about a little bit of time left. I wanted to go through this mailbag because I know we always go through 5 questions, but so many people have been so great with your mailbag as far as wanting to ask Nicole questions. And again, it's easy to do. All you have to go to is perfectlytwistedpod.com and you'll see mailbag right at the top and you can ask Nicole questions. And so I wanted to kind of clean out a little bit of your mailbag if you don't mind.
Okay. All right. Let's do
Okay.
it.
So we're going to fire through these. This one's Christina Monroe has a few for you. How was it working with Susan Anton as your scream mom?
Oh, she was great. She was really, really amazing. Really fun, high spirits, just like how she is when you see her as her character. She has that same good energy. Really, really nice lady. Really great lady. God, I haven't seen her in so long. Yeah, really, really nice.
So when was that? What year was that you worked with her? The thing I remember at Susan Anton for me is number one, very beautiful, very tall. Couldn't
Yeah.
understand attitudes with Dudley Moore. I'm like, what the hell's happening here? Like it drove me crazy as a kid. But a very beautiful woman. How long ago was that? Or
Well,
what
that
year?
was I mean, I want to say like 1991.
Okay.
I'm really bad with dates. Like, I don't hold me to that at all. Sometimes I have to Google myself to find out what years. But she played my mom on Baywatch, so I think for the whole run, she was my mom from the beginning to the end.
That's cool.
So yeah.
That's cool. When you found out she was going to be your mom, were you like, hey, this is pretty neat?
Well, I was kind of yes, because she's so gorgeous. But then I was like, God, she's so tall.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to me? Short stuff over here. Yeah. Next
That
to
is
the big, tall, leggy mom, and then
yeah.
I'm over here like little person. But yes, she's great. She's so great.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Was it difficult dealing with fame at such a young age?
Oh gosh, we've talked about this. Sort of, yes, because I think that when you're young, especially in your adolescent years, and you're awkward and you're
Yeah.
insecure and you're like mad for no reason, and all those things you are when you're young. It's hard to throw that in there. It's hard to throw that in the mix. And but I always said I was always happy that I always worked. I was always on a good show, but I never was on anything that was so big and I got so famous that it like ruined my life, because I I've really been able to somehow maintain just a good amount. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because I do feel sorry for people who are just so famous, and people are hounding them all the time and stopping them all the time. Uh, I think that would be really, really difficult. I feel like I kind of skated through it and got through it. And growing up in LA, people not really impressed. They see famous people all the time, so it's like, whatever. It was mostly like when we travel that people really start to recognize you, and you realize like that people recognize you. So for me, yeah, it was a little bit hard because I didn't like people looking at me. I felt insecure. I was so shy and so insecure. And I know that sounds so crazy because I'm an actress, but I really was. I was just horribly shy and introvert and scared to death, scared to death to talk to anybody. So that part was hard.
You know, it's funny you said that. You posted something recently, old stuff that you've been in. It was a Coppertone commercial when you were a little kid.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a cute commercial, but you have all these people, as you know, when we were that age, oh my god, grown-ups, and I got big kids around me, and you're on the beach and they're all on the beach, and then you jump up and you do your thing. And being a shy kid, I was a shy kid that I would think I couldn't even have done that. Like I would feel so uncomfortable being around people that are the older kids, and you become the star of the commercial. Were you uncomfortable doing even that small little bit for Coppertone?
No, no, because there's some weird little like thing that turns on that you go into like performance mode. And at least for me,
Yeah.
and it's sort of like I am so shy. I don't want to be the center of the room. I don't want to be the center of attention. But then when you have to act and you have to be that, something just switches and you just go into work mode and you go into it and you become that character and you do your dialogue and it's kind of like it's not you.
Yeah.
So
Not
it's sort of like a
interesting.
little escape thing that somehow it's not you. And that's a different thing because somebody has written this for you and said, this is what you're going to do. It's not you just being you doing it. If
Yeah.
that makes any sense at all, I don't know, but it makes it different.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. It's almost like if the people sitting around watching me be the star of this ad have an issue with it, I didn't write it. It's not my fault. It's not like the Jackson 5 where I told my brothers, "Hey, guess what? I'm going to be the star of this thing." Yeah, someone
Right.
else said you're going to be the star. All the pressure
Yeah.
was off you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have you. All right, question. Christina also has for you. Do you have your mixture of, let's say, do you have a lot of famous friends, or do you have friends that are just your average Joes?
Um, I mean, I know a lot of like famous people that I've met but it- usually what happens is I end up being friends with like hair and makeup artists because we work so closely and intimately together. So I have a lot
Okay.
of friends like that. A lot of like behind the scenes people. And, I have friends that are moms, that I meet through my daughter's school. And for someone who I'm kind of, I'm not the most social. I don't like go out and do a lot of social stuff. So for me, my circle is pretty small. And believe it or not, most of my closest friends are friends that I've had since elementary school.
That's cool. Says a lot about you.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. So one of the things I always get is I'll have people say, and these are people, let's say in the neighborhood, will say, "Hey, I watched you on with Nicole. I've watched or I've listened to you on the radio for 30 years." And as soon as they say that, I kind of cringe. Like, what did I do? Like, what did I say? You get kind of embarrassed. And I was like, just so they know me as the person in the neighborhood or a guy coach little league, whatever it is. But when they say I've listened or watched to you, I cringe. Now, when people come up to you, let's say it's a mother of one of your daughter's friends. Nicole, I used to watch you on Baywatch all the time. I used to watch you on Charles in Charge. Do you smile or do you just go, "Oh boy"? Like, what's your reaction?
No, I smile. It's nice, and then they want to share that with you. That's cool. Um, I always think it's funnier when people pretend like they don't know who you are.
And you could tell by the look that they know who you are.
Yeah. Oh, I've never seen that show.
Yeah,
So that's funnier to me because
yeah,
you're like, oh gosh, it's no big deal. It's like, if you're an actress and you're on TV, people are going to watch it. Hopefully
of course.
isn't that the end game, right? That's the end
Yeah, I
goal,
mean,
right? You want
it was
people
only
to
the
watch
most popular TV show in the world, but
it. Yeah.
okay.
So of course
Yeah.
people saw it. So no, I mean, no, it doesn't bother me. Does it bother me a little bit when a guy, if there's a guy that says like, "Oh, I had your poster on my wall," there's no future there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's, uh, that stuff, that freaks me out a little bit, but I don't know
Um,
why, but it does.
oh my gosh. All right, here we go. This is from Caitlin Ramsey. Have you ever regretted choosing a part of a project?
Um, I'm sure that there's a lot of things I should have not done. I always came from this school of like work breeds work and you don't say no. You say yes to everything. And I think in hindsight maybe that wasn't always the best move, but that's the way I was raised. That's how my mom, kind of like drilled into me. And So I feel like I did a lot of things just to keep working and to be working and to doing what I love. And I think that this is one profession that sometimes you do need to be a little bit more particular.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a, a few movies, but then again, I don't live with regret. And every movie and every project I've ever done, I have such a good time. And you meet all these amazing people. And for me, it's a lot of times it's more about the process. I have such a good time with the process of the project, so I don't regret any of them for that reason.
Another question: have you ever had a TV studio or movie studio try and hook you up with another celebrity to help boost the hold on, let's get this right, boost the attractiveness of the show?
No, no, I haven't. Luckily, no. No, because I think that whenever I worked for studios on TV shows, I was too young for them to be doing that, and I was probably already hanging out with like the it guys anyway.
Yeah,
You know, I was with all those kids when I was on Charles in Charge. It was like all my friends were the Coreys were like the biggest thing since sliced bread back then,
yeah.
and those were my homies. That's who I was with all the time. So I don't think there was any need to.
Was it strange? I mean, here you go. You have, the Corys, you have yourself, you're on the cover of magazines like crazy. I mean, it was a big deal. Those, I don't even know if they have those magazines anymore, but like when I was in high school, you'd go to 7-Eleven and
Like
all of a
Tiger
sudden,
Beat and
yeah, Tiger
Pop
Beat.
and all
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be, you'd see you'd see the Corys, you'd see Kirk Cameron, you'd see these people on the magazines every week.
Yeah.
And when all of you in one group together and you're going out, was it kind of nuts? Was it like a popular rock band?
Well, we kind of went to places where there was other kids, industry people too.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we were just really going out to random places. So there were these parties called Alfie Soda Pop parties, and they were what we did. They would be every month or something like that, and they were just parties of industry kids.
Yeah.
So it was like you got to go and just be with like-minded kids, and you could all relate to each other and support each other, and catch up with each other, and not be hounded or anything like that. So
When you're around that kind of success and you're that young, I mean, we kind of laugh at it now that, you're that young. It's what you own, what you can buy, what you can afford to buy, all that stuff. Was it, you ever feel like whether it was a female or a male that, people are trying to top each other, whether it's a nice car or a house or, what they're doing with their money? Was it ever a little out of control when you look back at it?
no, I have to be honest. I think that when I grew up in that time, there was a good group of kids, and
Yeah.
I don't think anybody was trying to outdo anybody. And if they did, I didn't notice. I don't know if there was like that kind of competition with guys and their cars or something like that. I don't really know, but no, and we weren't like out spending, you know, flashy money.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that. We were weirdly a lot more wholesome than that, I think. I know today it's different. Today it's like labels, and you see these kids and their mansions and their cars and their clothes and everything. It wasn't like that. It just wasn't.
I
We were like
remember
shopping on Ventura Boulevard in Sherman Oaks, and like we weren't cruising Beverly Hills.
I remember when Paramount Studios was probably about, I don't know, 5-6 miles from my house, and I remember they filmed Family Ties on that set and Cheers and stuff like that. And Michael J. Fox had the Ferrari, and Michael
Uh,
J. Fox is older than you and I, but I was like, man, the guy's a Ferrari. I thought that was nuts. I
yeah,
was like, good for him. I mean, he just finished like Back to the Future and Teen Wolf, and it's like this guy's driving a Ferrari. I thought it was pretty cool.
I'd
But
be
yeah,
afraid I would crash it. For me, I was
yeah.
like, let me just get something affordable. If I crash the thing, everybody's going to be okay.
That's too funny. Yeah, just curious to know. Yeah, well, so there you go. Again, the mailbag, it's really easy. You want to ask Nicole a question, we'll ask it right here on the show. And again, it's perfectlytwistedpod.com, and just go to the mailbag and submit your questions, and we'll knock them out. But I always find it interesting what you saw, what you remember, from that age. It doesn't sound like you have a lot of regrets. Like it sounds like you lived your childhood of one that you aren't going, what the hell was I thinking? That's never in there.
Well, there's a lot of what the hell was I thinking? I wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking. So I'm happy where I've gotten in life, and I'm happy with, like, I think I'm a good person, and I've had a good time. So, why regret anything? I think that's a waste of time.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. There you
Yeah.
go.
All right.
Not
Well,
bad. Not bad.
subscribe to us, guys. Hit that subscribe button, and we will catch you next week.
Absolutely. All right. We'll see you next week, Nicole.
Bye.